Anybody there yet? Got it all figured out? Anybody? All right, good. Me either. I'm working. Hey, everybody, you know my wife, Tracy, she's up here also because we have just a little video, I think. We got a video? All right, we got a video that we're going to show you guys. So if you'd watch this video for us, and then we'll chat a little bit.
Tell the truth about God. That's the noble definition of marriage.
It is designed to carry his purposes through flesh and blood from one generation to the next. It is designed to impact time with eternal principles.
The effect of sin is that it breaks that relationship with God.
We've seen the result of that other road, and we're not traveling that one. We're not traveling that one.
Your assignment is to love as Christ loved the church. That's the beginning of a legacy. Fulfill that pledge, and then watch what God does.
I mean, no?
I'll talk.
All right, go.
Okay. I don't like talking. I know I can get up here and sing, but talking is just different
Sing
for me.
it to
So
us.
yeah, no, I can't do that either.
The art of
So yeah,
marriage.
we have a marriage conference coming up,
Woo,
and
for marriage.
yes, we would we would love for you guys to sign up. We have a registration form, and it's on our website, and it's on our Facebook page.
It's not on our website.
It's not on our website. It's on our Facebook page. So go to our Facebook page and register for this event. It's going to be a lot of fun. We got food provided for you on Friday night, and then we'll have an all-day Saturday event. It ends at like 3 o'clock, and so it's going to be a lot of fun. If you need babysitters, we have those provided for you. So it's going to be great. So sign up, come to it, and yeah.
Does it cost anything?
It does cost. It's $35, and it includes like workbooks for you during the for each couple. So it's $35 per couple, and that gives both of you a workbook. So.
What if I feel like $35 isn't enough? Can I give more?
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool. We really do think that this is going to be an amazing weekend, and so we would love for you to register. Now, is it only if you're married?
No, couples are welcome to come if you want to strengthen your relationship. Come if you're newly engaged or been engaged for a while. Yeah, you're welcome to come. It'll be great for you guys.
New, as in like the last year?
Yeah.
It's like a new car. It stays new.
Yeah. So yeah.
Awesome. Thanks. That's really it. I mean, so Tracy, she, you guys don't know, like she leads in so many different areas and stuff, and so for her to come up here and to just be able to speak to you is something, it's new for her. She's getting there, and she's doing a great job in these things. And so this event matters so much to us as a church because we believe that strong marriages are important. And I know that some of you in the room are like, okay, yeah, my marriage could need some work, but I'm really scared of what we'll find out if we go. You're a perfect candidate for this because we're all probably a little bit scared. I have a car. It's a 2005 Buick Rendezvous. It's got 7 billion miles on it. The odometer says like 230 something, but I'm pretty sure that's a lie. I'm always afraid to open the hood because I don't know what's going to happen. Like, it's just bad. Right now, in fact, I have some work that I've got to finish doing on it, and it's just every time that you, any of you got a car like that? Like, every time you start it, you're just like, come on, please, 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 please. Yes! And then you're hoping that it stops when it's supposed to stop and starts back when it's supposed to start back, and that other people, like, you're kind of hoping that somebody hits you but not too hard to hurt you. I'm just saying. I'm not saying, but I'm saying. Okay? Some of our marriages are like that. That we're afraid people, if they were to peel back a layer, what would they find? Well, let's get together and let's talk about it. Okay? So go to our Facebook page, sign up for the event, and just be a part of that. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So, there. That was good. Any of you ever use Google Maps to get where you need to go? Like, yeah? Okay, 1, 2 people. Any of you ever lie? Just need to go ahead and get the rest of you involved this morning. So it's like I remember looking at real maps, like paper maps back in the paper age. and you like would highlight your route and stuff like that, and it would be great. And then MapQuest came along, so you could go to MapQuest and you could print out the directions. And if you were a smart person, you would print out reverse directions. Just let it be known that MapQuest didn't have that option at first, okay? Because it was always much, much more difficult to follow the directions home. Because it's like, I've got to start at the end and make opposite turns. But now, I remember one time we were going to West Virginia, and I was with my brother, my youngest brother, and my stepdad. And I'd been to Davis, West Virginia a couple of times to go snow skiing. And on this particular occasion, we were looking at the map, and we saw another road that was a shortcut on the map. Thought to myself, this is glorious. I love shortcuts. If you know anything about me, you know that I like shortcuts. I am a firm believer that every parking lot is a new opportunity to get somewhere faster. And so let's take that state highway, because state highways are good, unless you're in West Virginia. This state highway should have had a marker on it that said for bikes or log trucks, because that was about the room. It was almost 2 full lanes of road, and there was a steep cliff on one side and a steep rise on the other. It's like, well, we knew, stay left. You know, because it was zigzag and zigzag and zigzag. And the thing is, I just don't like following directions. I want to try a new way. I want to try a new route. And I've done this with Google Maps on my phone too. Like, it'll be talking or whatever, and I'm like, okay, I know how to get there. And then and it'll come on, that little voice comes on and says, in 1 mile, turn right onto exit 46B. And you're like, why? Like, that's not how I get there. And so you don't listen. How many of you have ever not listened to that voice and then regretted it? Because it's like, for whatever reason, like, Google is smarter than us people. Let's just admit it. Okay? They get the traffic updates. They get the alerts. And it's like real time. And it's like, take 46B. And then you don't take 46B. And then the voice comes up and says, you're an idiot. And you should have taken the exit. It's just telling you, like, now you're going to cost yourself 7 extra minutes. Way to go. And for me, when I'm driving, 7 minutes is life. There's something I could have done with that 7 minutes. It would have mattered. I could have saved people or something. Right? No, we don't listen to the directions because we imagine that we know a better way. And we get ourselves into a lot of trouble when we imagine that we know a better way than the people that are professional, the people that have studied this, the people that know where to go in order to get where you want to get. And so we should listen to those people. Now let's take it into us. We're here on a Sunday morning to worship Jesus. Any of you ever really want to get your life together and you want it to go in the right direction? You want it to go here. You want to get to this spot, but you think you know how? Even though it's been proven over and over again that we don't. But we keep trying to fix it ourselves. We keep trying to get it together ourselves. I think this is a great opportunity for us to just address real quickly any parenting flaws in the room. We got some parenting flaws in the room, right? But we know how to fix it. We yell louder, because that solves everything. Kids won't listen, yell at them, because that works. Marriage problems in the room. Anybody got any marriage problems in the rooms? Yell louder. Probably shouldn't do that, but we do. Or we fight harder, or we want to dig in our heels and stuff, and it's just, that's not the solution. There are ways to accomplish the goals that we have, but we don't want to listen to people that have been there before or people that know. And so, because we imagine we can do it ourselves. So we want to get where God is, but we don't want to go the way that God is going. And you just can't do that. And so I want us to look at Exodus. We've been reading. If you're reading with us in the year of the Bible, then you've read through Exodus, the Exodus of Israel this week, and you saw them come out of Egypt. You saw the plagues that were on Egypt. And then, like, if you didn't get the chance to do that, then watch the Moses cartoon. You'll catch up a little. And you see God raising Israel up out of bondage, up out of slavery, when there was no pathway for them to be free. God made a pathway. And so we're going to jump right into this. They're exiting, they're leaving. And here's what Exodus 13 verse 18 says. They're leaving Egypt. They're gone. It says, so he led the people around toward the Red Sea along the road of the wilderness. At the beginning of 13, it says that God took them the long way instead of the short way. It's really a great story. If you haven't read that yet, go back in and check out the chapter 12 and 13. It says, the Israelites left the land of Egypt in battle formation. They set out from Succoth and camped at Etham on the edge of the wilderness. Here it is. The Lord went ahead of them in a pillar of cloud to lead them on their way during the day, and in a pillar of fire to give them light at night, so that they could travel day or night. The pillar of cloud by day and the pillar of fire by night never left its place. I want you to watch this. Never left its place where? In front of the people. How were they getting where they were wanting to go? They were following God. He was in front. We got a lot of folks that are like, hey, God, come on, catch up. It's not the way it works, people. It's just not the way it works. Have any of us ever gotten ahead of God? Okay, literally, you can't get ahead of God, right? He's outside of time. But any of you ever like, you're moving faster than God is moving because you're not getting where you want to go yet, so you try and make a way? And you could probably teach other people that that was a bad idea, right? Okay. I want you to, if it's in your notes, great. If it's not, write this down. If you're a social media person, let people know if this line matters, okay? Here it is. Ready? Following God is not an option if you want to get to the promised land. It's your only hope. We've made making following God an option, haven't we? We've made it optional. You want to get where you want to go. You want to get where God is going. Well, if you'll do these things over here, then you can get there. Or if you'll do these things over here, then you can get there. When the only way to get where God is to follow God. And I want to make it clear this morning so that no one is misunderstanding, or if there's anybody watching us on Facebook Live, hi, we're glad you're here. Following God means surrendering to Jesus. It means following Jesus. When Jesus goes to get his disciples, he says, follow me. When people question him, we don't know the way and we don't know where you were going. And then he says, if you know me, you know the way. Why? Why, Jesus? What does that mean? He says, I am the way. Follow me, because I am the way. Following God, following Jesus is not just an option. It's our only hope if we want to get to the promised land. And then I want you to see more. We're going to kind of go through a little bit of the Exodus story. And it's not going to take us long. But I want you to see this, because the reality is that God, following him, it's just not going to be an easy road. But he will make a way for us. The Israelites came upon the Red Sea. And when they came upon the Red Sea, they didn't think to themselves, oh, look, that's pretty. They didn't all like break out. They didn't have iPhones, y'all. I know some of you are like, no iPhones? Right? But no, it's like the kids these days, right? Everybody's got an iPhone. They didn't break out their sketch pads and start drawing about how pretty it was and everything. Like, they got to the Red Sea, and they're just like, what, Moses? Man, we're going to get a sunburn. I didn't bring my bikini. No, they got to the Red Sea, and they're like, what are you doing? Moses, why did you do this, Moses? What are we going to do now? Where do we go now? How are we going to get away now? Any of you ever follow God and then you come up to an impossible wall? Like, there is absolutely no way for me to do this. God, why did I follow you? That's what they were doing. Watch. And if you don't believe me, I want you to see that God makes a way for you, but you will have to walk it. God will make the way, but you will have to walk. How do we say? God will make the way, you take the steps. Exodus 14:4. Watch, here's God making a way. I will harden Pharaoh's heart so that he will pursue them. Then I will receive glory by means of Pharaoh and all his army, and the Egyptians will know that I am the Lord. So the Israelites, here it is, ready? The Israelites what? Did this. They did this. I will make a way. God says, I will harden Pharaoh's heart. And this is so rich. So they get to the Red Sea, and there it is. And they're freaking out, going crazy. What are we going to do? And Moses says, stand still. That's the last thing you want to do when you got an army coming, right? He's like, I stand still. I want to hide. Some people start swimming. People are running around like crazy. You got kids asking for food. You got some spouses, husbands and wives looking at the other one and be like, told you so. Because when stress comes, right, that's what happens. And God says, I've got this. He hardens Pharaoh's heart. The Israelites go through the Red Sea. God made a way when there wasn't a way. He opened up the Red Sea. The Israelites go through. And a lot of us stop right there. Okay? He made a way. The Israelites got through the Red Sea. They get over into the other side, and then they're in the wilderness on the way to the Promised Land. Yay, God, all right, everything is good. God gets us there. But I want you to see this. Had the next part of the story not happened, the Israelites would have been killed the next day. God stirs up Pharaoh's heart and says, go get them. And so Pharaoh takes off. And I love the reading. If you read this, man, this is so good. It says that the chariots got hard to steer because God made them mess up. Any of you ever feel, how many times has God stepped in and intervened on our behalf and we didn't notice it? I'm telling you, the Israelites weren't walking through and looking like them and be like, oh, cool, God's messing up their chariots. That's awesome. No, they weren't paying attention to what was going on behind them. They were moving forward. And so we miss a lot of times what God does to make a way for us. But I want you to see this. The Israelites get on the other side. The Egyptian army, all of the Egyptian army, it says that Pharaoh had called every charioteer out, and he put them in chase after Israel, and they got into the middle of the Red Sea because the Israelites went through. How many ever watched somebody else do something and think, I can do that. I could have done it better, actually. Any of you, I do that all the time whenever I'm watching American Ninja Warrior. Right? I'm like, I could have clapped like that guy. So the Egyptians get into the sea, right there in the middle of it. And there the sea is walled up. And what does God do? He closes the sea in on them and kills them all. I know you're like, oh, that's violent. Yeah, he wasn't saving Egypt, he was saving Israel. Had God not done that, the Egyptian army could have come over the next day and wiped the entire nation of Israel out. But I want you to see, guys, here's the hope. Ready? God doesn't just make a way for us where he wants us. He provides. He's our safety. He's our hope. He's our protection. He keeps us from the enemy. And when we can't stay away from the enemy, he takes care of the enemy for us. And some of us this morning, some of us are here, and this is heavy stuff, okay? I get it. But some of us, we need God to come into our lives right now, and we need him to intervene, and we need him to kill the enemy. Some of us are struggling right now with whatever I don't want to start naming things, because if I don't name your thing, you'll think you're okay. Right? I do that. I'm like, oh, well, he didn't say this, so I guess I'm good. If we don't name whatever it is that you're struggling with, anybody else with me in that? You just kind of feel good about it because they didn't talk about yours? Whatever it is that you need right now, whatever enemy is attacking you right now, ask for God to intervene and trust him to destroy the enemy. But, oh boy, when we ask God to intervene and destroy our enemies, we have to stop, and he will do it. Some of us ask God to intervene, but then we keep doing everything we can. Let God work. Let God work. Now, once you get to where God is going, it gets easy, doesn't it? Oh, come on, y'all. It gets easy, right? Every day with Jesus is sweeter than the day before. Isn't that a good old song? Nothing like it's a good old song if you like songs, but it might not be true. Some days are harder than the day before. And sometimes the closer you get to Jesus, the harder it gets. And I want you to get this. If this is true, just give me a little acknowledgement that this is true for you. You will want to turn back before you get where God is taking you. You will. you will want to turn back before you get there. We will all come upon struggles. We will all come upon doubts. We will all get to a spot where we're like, there is no way this is the right path. There is no way this is the life for me. I cannot do this. I will not do this. We will want to turn back. Well, what makes you think that that'll happen? Well, let's look at the Israelites. By the way, the Israelites had a pillar of fire and a pillar of cloud leading them. They got to a sea and it split and they walked across on dry land, not mud, dry land. And then they saw the sea close up on their enemies, and then they get on the other side and they're still not sure. How many of us would those have been enough signs for us? Come on. Who would have? If you raise your hand, just be real careful, okay? Because I want to be like, well, God done quite a bit in your life, and we still wondering, right? Okay, that's me though. I'm talking to me right now. I should be speaking to Michael in third person. Watch the next passage for us. As Pharaoh approached, the Israelites looked up, and this is right before they cross over to the sea. The Israelites looked up. There were the Egyptians coming after them. The Israelites were terrified and cried out to the Lord for help. And here's what they said. They said to Moses, I love that. They cried out to the Lord for help. And then they said to Moses, is it because there are no graves in Egypt that you have taken us away to die in the wilderness? They could have buried us there, dude. What have you done to us by bringing us out of Egypt? Isn't this what we told you in Egypt? Moses! We told you we didn't want to do this. Look what you've done. Leave us alone. That's what we said. Leave us alone so that we may serve the Egyptians. Man, we'll just take a detour right now. How many of us are more satisfied serving in our sin because we don't want the struggle to get out of it? Right? We'd rather be enslaved to our sin because it's easier. Listen, whatever your struggle is, again, I don't want to start naming things. I've got a lot of things running through my head right now. I'd be like, well, I could talk about pornography, but then if you're addicted to pain pills, you think I'm not talking to you. Right? I could talk about marriage problems, but if you're not having marriage problems because you're mad at your kids all the time, I'm not talking to you. Or maybe your only struggle is road rage. I'm not talking to you. No, we all struggle with that one. Let's learn to be Christian when we're driving, folks, okay? No, this is what we say to God. Leave us alone so that we can serve the Egyptians because life is easier here. We've gotten into a good routine, and God, whenever you come in, you just mess up my routine. Now, we're probably not so bold to actually say those things to God, are we? But isn't that what we feel sometimes? I think that we feel that. I think that we struggle with that, but we've got to remember, following God's not an option if we want to get there. It's our only hope. And watch this last line. They say to him, it would have been better for us to serve the Egyptians than to die in the wilderness. They had watched the plagues come upon Egypt, all 10 of them. They saw all of them. They saw all the Egyptian livestock die and their livestock not die. Talk about an interesting story. Like, imagine like your neighbor, all of his stuff dies, and like all of yours is like, all right. And so you're just like, whoa, mine's alive. And some of you would be disappointed because like, my cat. Some of you are like, stop it, I like cats. All the firstborn of everywhere else, like Egypt, boom, all of them die. And all of yours are protected. And it's not enough. We watch God work and we watch God work and we watch God work, and then whenever he comes into our lives, we watch him do things in other people's life, and we're like, wow, God, that's amazing. Man, what a story, what a healing, what a miracle, what a thing you did there, God. But when he gets into our lives, leave us alone so that we can stay in Egypt. Leave us alone. We say that to God. Following Jesus will require you to face your greatest fear. The Israelites are standing there about to cross over. The Egyptian army is coming, and they're scared to death. Moses, why did you bring us out here? They're going to kill us. Moses says, we've said this already, stand still, see the salvation of God. Watch what he's about to do. So I want you to catch this. We talked about it last week, right? We talked last week, if you were here, do you remember? Following Jesus will require you to face your greatest fears. Talked about that. And so following Jesus will require you to face your greatest fear. But trust me, I promise you, experience and the Bible teach us that our salvation is just on the other side of our fear. We're afraid to surrender. We're afraid what that means for our life, so we don't do it. Or maybe we do surrender, but then we fall back. Moses said to the people, don't be afraid. Stand firm. See the Lord's salvation that He will accomplish for you today. Don't be afraid. Stand firm. And then what I think some of us would like to do, though, is like if we were there and we were with Moses, like, don't be afraid. That's easy for you, Moses. The burning bush talked to you. It's easier for you, Moses. Moses, you've seen things we haven't seen. Moses, you've experienced things from God that we haven't experienced. How can we trust Him? How can we know, Moses? What do you mean stand firm and don't be afraid? Do you see the army? The army won't scare you when you're trusting the God who created the army. The struggle won't scare you when you're trusting the God who can conquer the struggle. But how do we make it? How do we do it? Because we all want to give up. So, how do we keep from turning back? I'm going to finish here, okay? This is going to be a quick little rundown. How do we keep from turning back? How do we stay faithful? Anybody want to know how to stay faithful? We want to know how to stay faithful, right? Here's the key. It's 2 words. Ready? If you're like a creative person, take and just kind of art these words out and make it look super awesome. Okay? 2 words. How do we keep from going back, from turning back? Each other. Each other. Some of you are like, I knew that. I got it. Yeah, watch. Romans 1, verses 11 and 12. For I want very much to see you, so that I may impart to you some spiritual gift to strengthen you. That is, to be mutually encouraged by each other's faith, both yours and mine. Our faith encourages other people's faith. Your faith encourages other people's faith. Well, when life comes at you and it's throwing you and it's punching you and it's kicking you, but you keep going, other people are inspired by you. They're inspired by the work of God on your behalf to believe that God will do it for them. I just can't, I have to believe that if there was another country that could have come in, like if God would have created some stands and put like another country that was like, here's Israel and here's Egypt, and then what if the Assyrians would have just been kind of like spectating the Israelites cross the Red Sea and then the Egyptians get killed, they'd have probably been like, whoa, that was crazy. That's awesome. That God is good. Let your faith encourage other people. 1 Corinthians 12 says this, instead, God has put the body together. And when it says body right there, let's just call it church, okay? God has put the church together, giving greater honor to the less honorable, so that there would be no division in the body. No division in the body. There should be no division in the church. None. No division. There's no room for it. You can't be divided if you're trying to reach people. But that the members would have the same concern for what? For each other. So if one member suffers, oh man, if one member suffers, all the members talk about it. No, all the members suffer. Why? Because we're in this together. We are one body. We are one church. We are in Christ together. And when you're suffering, I'm suffering. When life is hard for you, life is hard for me. But my faith can encourage you through, and then your faith can encourage me through. Some of you wives whose husbands aren't always great need to talk to Tracy because her husband's not always great. In fact, we're looking for a day where I will be great. She needs encouragement. We all need encouragement. There's more. If one member is honored, all the members rejoice with it instead of complaining that somebody got a promotion or something like that that we wanted or didn't get. Hebrews 3, verse 12 and 14. This is so true. Watch out, brothers and sisters, so that there won't be in any of you, an evil, unbelieving heart. That's serious. Watch out, brothers and sisters, so that there won't be an evil, unbelieving heart that turns away from the living God. But encourage each other daily. Watch out so that there's not this evil, unbelieving heart that turns from God. Encourage each other daily while it is still called today, so that none of you is hardened by sin's deception. How are we going to avoid being hardened by sin's deception? We encourage each other every day. Get a text message routine weekly where you're sending a message out. If that's all you want to do, if that's all you can do, at least do. Send a text message out just saying, hey, I'm praying for you. I believe in you. You can do this. Or I'm praying for you. I believe in God. He will do this. Verse 14, for we have become participants in Christ if we hold firmly until the end the reality that we had at the start. And finally, Hebrews 10:24, and let us watch out for one another to provoke love and good works, not neglecting to gather together as some are in the habit of doing, but encouraging each other all the more as you see the day approaching. How are we going to keep from turning back? How are our decisions to follow Christ? Some of us have made new decisions to follow Christ. We've made fresh decisions to follow Christ. How are we going to keep those decisions? How are we going to keep our resolve? Each other. It's each other. Christians encourage Christians. And we find people who need what we have. And we encourage them too. Anybody need encouragement this morning? Here's what I want to do. We're going to sing this song, Reckless Love. How many of you like this song? Just raise your hand if you like this song. This is good. And we still got walls, and we still got mountains, and we still got lies. But if this morning, if the Spirit's speaking to you, I want you guys to stay seated unless you need encouragement. Then I'm going to ask you to take a bold step and stand up. And then if someone stands up, I would love for people to go and encourage them. As the band, as these guys sing this song to us, we're going to stay seated unless we need encouragement. And I know some of you do. We do. So I would love for you to stand up when they start. And people are going. The church is going. We will suffer with you. We will rejoice with you.